I want you to go to your bathroom mirror right now. Turn on the brightest light you have. I want you to lean in close, very close, until your nose is almost touching the glass. Open your eyes wide and look at the colored part of your eye, the iris. Maybe your eyes are blue, maybe they are brown, maybe they are green. But I am not asking you to look at the color. I am asking you to look at the edge. I want you to look at the outer rim where the colored part meets the white part of your eye. Do you see a ring? A thin, hazy, grayish-white or bluish circle wrapping around your iris. It might look like a halo. It might look like a milky moon. It might be a full circle, or it might just be two arcs, one at the top and one at the bottom, looking like parentheses. If you see this ring, you might have assumed it was just a cataract starting to form. You might have thought it was just a color change due to getting older, like gray hair. You might have even thought it looked kind of distinguished. But I am here to tell you that this ring is not a trick of the light. It is a deposit of fat. It is a physical buildup of lipids, cholesterol and triglycerides, that has leaked out of your bloodstream and settled into the clear tissue of your eye. In medical terms, this is called Arcus Senilis. And while it will not blind you, and it will not hurt you, it is serving as a neon warning sign from your body. It is telling you that if there is fat depositing in your eyes, there is a very high probability that fat is also depositing in your coronary arteries, your carotid arteries, and the vessels feeding your brain. That innocent-looking gray ring is often the first visible clue of high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, and a heightened risk of stroke or heart attack. Today we are going to look that gray ring in the face. We are going to decode the message your eyes are sending you. We are going to explain exactly how cholesterol manages to travel from your liver to your eyeball. We are going to differentiate between normal aging and a medical emergency, because the age at which this ring appears changes its meaning entirely. We are going to debunk the myth that this is a cataract. It is something completely different. And most importantly, I am going to give you the roadmap of what to do next, from the specific blood tests you need to request to the dietary changes that can help manage the invisible sludge in your blood before it causes a blockage that changes your life forever. To understand the gray ring, we first have to understand the anatomy of the eye. The clear front window of your eye is called the cornea. Think of the cornea like the windshield of a car. It needs to be perfectly clear to let light in so you can see. Because it needs to be clear, the cornea has no blood vessels in the center. If it had blood vessels, you would see red lines all the time. However, the cornea still needs nutrients. It gets these nutrients from the very edge, the rim, where tiny, microscopic capillaries end. This rim is called the limbus. When your blood is thick with cholesterol, specifically low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, the bad cholesterol, that fat circulates through every vessel in your body. It travels to your toes, your heart, and yes, your eyes. When this cholesterol-rich blood reaches the edge of the cornea, the vessels are tiny. The blood flow slows down. The cholesterol and fats can leak out of the capillaries and settle into the stromal layer of the cornea. Because the cornea is cooler in temperature than the rest of the body, the fat solidifies. It turns into a solid deposit. Think of it like a grease trap in a kitchen sink. When the hot grease flows, it is liquid. When it hits a cooler pipe or a corner, it hardens and turns white. That is exactly what is happening in your eye. That gray or white ring you see is literally a ring of grease that has hardened within the tissue of your eye. At first, it usually starts at the top and the bottom, the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock positions. Over time, the two arcs grow toward each other until they meet, forming a complete circle. This is Arcus Senilis. Now, we have to talk about the senilis part of the name. It comes from the word senile, which just means old. I know, it is an offensive term, but in medicine, it just denotes aging. This is where the nuance is critical. If you are 90 years old and you have this ring, it is considered almost normal. By the age of 80, nearly 100% of men and women have some degree of this ring. It is simply a marker that you have lived a long time and your metabolism has processed a lot of fat over the decades. However, if you are 60, or 55, or even in your early 60s, if you have a pronounced, thick, opaque ring around your iris, this is not just aging. This is a red flag. It suggests that your cholesterol levels have been high for a very long time. It suggests a condition called familial hypercholesterolemia. This is a genetic condition where your liver is unable to remove bad cholesterol from the blood efficiently. People with this condition have high cholesterol from a young age, regardless of how much salad they eat or how much they run. For them, the gray ring is a sign that their arteries are aging faster than the rest of their body. Why is this ring linked to death? That sounds dramatic, but we need to follow the logic. The eye is a microenvironment. If the blood vessels in your eye are leaking cholesterol, it means the concentration of cholesterol in your blood is high enough to cause deposits. If it is depositing in the eye, where there is low pressure, imagine what it is doing in the high-pressure system of your heart. It is depositing plaque. Plaque is the buildup of cholesterol, calcium, and cellular waste on the inner walls of your arteries. It narrows the tube. When the tube narrows, your heart has to pump harder. This raises your blood pressure. But the real danger isn't just the narrowing, it is the rupture. Soft plaque, which is full of lipids, just like the ring in your eye, is unstable. It can burst. When a plaque bursts in a heart artery, a clot forms instantly. That clot blocks the blood flow. That is a heart attack. If that plaque bursts in a carotid artery leading to the brain, that is a stroke. The gray ring is essentially a biological dashboard light telling you, check the engine. The oil is too thick. One of the most common misconceptions I hear from patients is, oh, I have that ring, it's just my cataracts. We need to clear this up right now. A cataract is a clouding of the lens of the eye. The lens sits deep inside the eye, behind the pupil. When you have a cataract, your vision gets blurry. It is like looking through a dirty window. You have trouble seeing at night. Colors look faded. Arcus Senilis, the gray ring, is on the cornea, the surface. It does not affect your vision. It does not cover the pupil. You can see perfectly fine. You can read, you can drive, you can thread a needle. The ring is purely cosmetic. It sits in the white part of the eye, framing the color. This is why it is dangerous, because it doesn't bother you. A cataract bothers you, so you go to the doctor. The gray ring doesn't bother you, so you ignore it. You look in the mirror, see it, think, I can still see fine, and you go about your day. Meanwhile, your cholesterol is spiking. There is another visible sign that often travels with the gray ring. I want you to check for this too. Look at your eyelids. Specifically, look at the inner corners of your eyes, near your nose. Do you see any small, soft, yellow bumps? They might look like little blobs of fat under the skin. They are painless. These are called xanthelasma. If the gray ring is the smoke, xanthelasma is the fire. These yellow bumps are actual pockets of cholesterol growing under your skin. If you have the gray ring around the iris and the yellow bumps on the eyelids, your risk of heart disease is exponentially higher. This combination is almost a guarantee that your lipid profile is out of control. So, let's say you looked in the mirror and you saw the ring. You are 62 years old. You feel fine. What do? Do not panic. Panic raises cortisol, which is bad for your heart. Instead, you need to become a detective. You need data. You cannot fix what you do not measure. The first step is to call your doctor and schedule a lipid panel. Do not just ask for a checkup. Ask for a full lipid fractionation. You need to know 4 numbers. Total cholesterol, this gives a general picture. LDL, low-density lipoprotein, this is the bad stuff. This is what makes the ring. You want this number low, ideally under 100, or under 70 if you have heart risk factors. HDL, high-density lipoprotein. This is the good stuff. It acts like a garbage truck, picking up the bad cholesterol and taking it back to the liver. You want this number high. Triglycerides, this is the fat in your blood from sugar and carbohydrates. If your LDL is high and your HDL is low, that gray ring is telling you the truth. Your balance is off. Now, let's talk about the solution. Can you get rid of the ring? This is the question everyone asks. If I lower my cholesterol, will my eyes turn back to normal? The answer is, usually no. Once the lipid deposits are in the cornea, they tend to stay there. They are stubborn. In some rare cases of very aggressive treatment, they can fade slightly, but generally, the ring is permanent. Think of it like a scar. The goal is not to remove the ring, the goal is to stop it from getting thicker, and more importantly, to stop the deposits from happening in your heart. The ring is history, the heart is the future. The battle against the gray ring is fought in the kitchen. We need to talk about the sticky foods versus the slippery foods. Sticky foods are saturated fats and trans fats. These are the fats that are solid at room temperature. Think of bacon grease. When it cools in the pan, it turns white and hard. That is exactly what it does in your arteries and your eyes. Cheese, red meat, butter, coconut oil, fried foods, baked goods made with hydrogenated oils. These increase your LDL. They feed the ring. Slippery foods are the ones that help wash the grease away. These are rich in soluble fiber. Think of soluble fiber as a sponge. When you eat oatmeal, beans, lentils, or apples, the fiber turns into a gel in your gut. This gel grabs onto cholesterol and drags it out of your body before it can get into your bloodstream. It stops the new supply. If you have the gray ring, you should be eating oatmeal for breakfast every single day. Not the sugary packet kind, but steel-cut oats. We also need to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. These are found in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Omega-3s are like WD-40 for your blood. They make your blood platelets less sticky. They lower your triglycerides. They raise your good cholesterol, HDL. If you aren't eating fish 3 times a week, you should be taking a high-quality fish oil supplement. There is a myth I want to bust regarding thin people. Many people think, I'm skinny, I don't need to worry about cholesterol. This is false. Arcus Senilis appears in thin people just as often as overweight people. Why? Because cholesterol is not just about what you eat, it is about how your liver processes it. You can be a size 2 and have a liver that pumps out massive amounts of LDL due to genetics. The gray ring is the great equalizer. It doesn't care about your dress size, it cares about your blood chemistry. If you are thin and see the ring, do not assume you are safe. In fact, you might be at higher risk because you have likely never been tested because you look healthy. Let's discuss the medication question. Statins. Lipitor, Crestor, Zocor. I know, nobody wants to take a pill. We worry about side effects. But if you have the gray ring, and your blood tests confirm high LDL, statins are a miracle drug. They stabilize the plaque. They stop the ring from getting worse. They prevent the stroke. If you are resistant to taking meds, look at your eye again. That ring is physical proof that your body needs help handling fats. Diet and exercise are the foundation, but sometimes genetics is a heavy weight to lift alone. The statin is the forklift that helps you lift it. I also want to touch on the connection to alcohol. Heavy alcohol use can increase triglycerides and cholesterol. It stresses the liver. If your liver is busy processing alcohol, it cannot process cholesterol. If you have the gray ring, look at your alcohol intake. Cutting back might be the lever you need to pull to clear up your blood. There is another condition that can cause a white ring, but it is different. It is called Wilson's disease. This causes a copper-colored or brownish ring, called the Kaiserfleischer ring. It is rare and usually affects the liver and brain. But for 99% of seniors, the ring is gray or white, and it is cholesterol. Let's talk about the psychological impact of seeing this ring. It can make you feel old. It changes the way your eyes look. Your eyes might lose that sharp, crisp definition they had in your youth. The color might look a little washed out because of the white border. It is natural to feel a little vanity about this. But I want you to reframe it. Instead of seeing it as a flaw, see it as a dashboard indicator. Your car has a light that comes on when the tire pressure is low. You don't hate the light, you appreciate the warning so you don't have a blowout on the highway. Your eye is that light. It is giving you a chance to act. So, here is your homework assignment. Step 1, the mirror check. Do it today. Do it in natural light if possible. Look for the arc at the top and bottom. Step 2, the family check. Look at your spouse. Look at your siblings. This condition is often genetic. If you have it, your brother might have it too. You can save his life by pointing it out. Hey, Bob, have you noticed that ring around your eye? You should get your lipid panel done. Step 3, the data check. Find your last blood test results. Look at the numbers. Were you borderline? Did the doctor say, watch it? If you have the ring, watching it is no longer enough. You need to manage it. I want to emphasize the stroke connection one more time. A stroke steals your independence. It steals your ability to speak, to walk, to feed yourself. The plaque that causes a stroke is the same plaque that causes the ring. By addressing the ring, by lowering that cholesterol, you are protecting your brain. You are protecting your memories. You are protecting your ability to live in your own home. We often think that health is complicated. We think we need MRI machines and CT scans to know what is going on inside. And sometimes we do. But nature is clever. Nature puts clues on the outside. The smoothness of your tongue, the clubbing of your fingernails, the gray ring in your eye. These are the external signs of the internal reality. You have lived a long life to get to this age. You have wisdom. Use that wisdom now. Don't be the person who ignores the sign. Be the person who sees it, acknowledges it, and takes action. If you go to the doctor and they say, "Oh, that's just Arcus Senilis, don't worry about it," push back a little. Say, "I know it doesn't hurt my vision, but I am worried about what it means for my heart. Can we check my lipids? Can we check my Lp(a)? That is another specific genetic cholesterol marker." Be your own advocate. Your eyes are the window to your soul, yes. But they are also the window to your arteries. Keep them clear. Keep them bright. And use what they tell you to keep your heart beating strong for another 20 years. Thank you for listening. Go check that mirror. It might be the most important look you take all year. Stay safe, stay observant, and take care of your heart.